What is up, everyone? It is Dominic here for Obligatory, bringing you an overview of the new releases in music for the week ending in Friday, September 29th, 2023. Kicking things off with the first of our three headliners, so to speak, we have Armand Hammer's newest album, which comes with a lot of ornate bells and whistles on top of their already enigmatic and fascinating formula. We Buy Diabetic Test Strips is the sixth studio album by the duo of Billy Woods and Elucid, and it brings together a cast of LP, Pink Seafood, Jungle Pussy, Jordan Pierce of Soul Glow, and features production from JPEG Mafia, Black Noise, Kenny Segal, Preservation, and more. Sonically, this already feels like the most expansive sound palette Armand Hammer has worked with on any of their projects yet, and the results are rich with abstract excellence. We Buy Diabetic Test Strips is out now via Fat Possum Records. Even God Has a Sense of Humor was the first of what are now two albums from the SoCal rapper Maxo in 2023. Debbie's Son, which is out now, comes just 8 months after Maxo's debut on Def Jam Recordings, but this one is a self-released project. Debbie's Son is a patient listen, with many songs finding their comfort in their droll rhythms and jazz samples bent out of shape. Though most of the record has a low-key tone, it remains a very dynamic project both lyrically and sonically. Fans of Liv, Pink Seafood, and To Pimp a Butterfly era Kendrick should give this one a try. The new Cherry Glazerr album, I Don't Want You Anymore, is finally here after being one of my most anticipated albums of the year since it was announced back in July. It is the first album for guitarist, singer, and songwriter Clementine Creevy and company since 2019, and it focuses pretty heavily on Creevy's past relationship experiences and the dark, painful feelings that are wrapped up within those memories. The three singles leading up to its release were fantastic, straddling the lines between grunge-tinged alt-rock and noise pop. The full album has some more of that going on, plus some other tracks that are more danceable and synth-driven. I Don't Want You Anymore is out now via Secretly Canadian. For fans of neo-soul acts like Salt, of which Cleo Sol is a part of, consider listening to one of her two latest albums released just 2 weeks apart. This week saw the UK singer release Gold, which serves as her fourth studio album and a quick follow-up to Heaven. Cleo has long been known for her slow-burning, heartfelt, and pillowy melodies, which have only grown more traditionally soulful with each passing release. Here, she channels the greats, from Stevie Wonder to Jill Scott and Alicia Keys. The result is an endearing chicken soup for the soul type of experience that's as satisfying as it is soothing. Wilco have a new album out this week with the release of Cousin. Produced by Kate LeBon, it is the first time Wilco has had an outsider come in and be an active part of their recording process since 2001's Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. The result isn't a complete reinvention of Wilco's sound, nor should it be, but it definitely sees them pushing their boundaries a little bit. Electronic producer Oneohtrix Point Never has been busy the past few years, to say the least. He's produced some film and television scores, most notably Uncut Gems and the upcoming series The Curse. He was the executive producer of The Weeknd's latest record and also served as the musical director of The Weeknd's Super Bowl halftime show, but yet that's not even all of it. Amidst all that, he has put together his newest album, Again, which he described as a speculative biography and an illogical period piece that kind of reflects and questions what his career would look like had he went in different musical directions. Again is available now through Warp Records. If you are pro Griselda, you should definitely be up on the latest Rome Streetz project, Noise Candy 5. Last year's Kiss the Ring served as a breakout for Rome, whose raw street sensibilities were furnished by a designer ensemble of Conductor Williams production for a sprawling boom-bap opus. This time around, Rome Streetz collects features from Boldy James, Currency, and Joey Badass over multiple beats by Evidence and Wavy to God. The Kansas City trio Flooding just put out their new album, Silhouette Machine, and it is a must-listen for any fan of slowcore, post-rock, noise rock, or anything within that realm. They play really well off the extreme ends of all of those aforementioned genres, transitioning seamlessly from the most intense, brooding sections to more spacious and dreamy ones on a really strong second record for the band. You might not know the name Colin Miller, but if you're a fan of MJ Lenderman, Wednesday, or Indigo D'Souza, you might have heard some of his work. Miller has engineered and produced albums for all three of those fellow Asheville, North Carolina artists, but this week he has shared his debut album with the release of Haw Creek. Self-recorded, self-produced, and made primarily with a mixture of instruments handed down from family members, Haw Creek is a beautiful and intimate collection of lo-fi, indie folk, and bedroom pop, and it is out now via Ruination Record Company. The experimental pop and neo-psych mainstays Animal Collective now have 12 albums under their belt with the release of Isn't It Now. It is their second album in as many years, and with a runtime of about 64 minutes, it is their longest yet. Isn't It Now is out now, via Domino Recording Company. Super quick shout out to 2 more albums before we move on to some singles from this week. The Wisconsin indie rock band Pulp released their sophomore record Yard, the follow-up to 2020's Movies, out now via Anti Records. Last but not least, we have a new EP from Loadcard, the mathy progressive rock project of Philadelphia musician Cameron Connor, out this week with More Wings, More Latitude. This 5-track EP comes by way of Julia's War Records. Moving on to some singles from this week, we have PinkPantheress, who may be gearing up for a new project with the release of Mosquito, another drum and bass single by someone who's very much revitalized its sound in the mainstream market. Although it's a familiar feel for her, PinkPantheress continues to catch lightning in a bottle with these hyper sweet hooks, and some well-placed strings bring the whole thing to life in a really nice way. If you had Lil Yachty and J. Cole trading verses over a Nick Craven-style 4-bar loop on your 2023 bingo card, hats off to you. Yachty has been among the most surprising and unpredictable popular artists of late, with his sound ranging from neo-psych to his usual pop trap to this, a straight-up East Coast underground rap record. Both artists provide really strong verses, and their styles contrast one another emphatically. No word on if this is tied to any sort of upcoming project, but it comes to us by way of Quality Control and Universal Music Group. San Francisco punk rockers Spiritual Cramp have shared the second single from their upcoming self-titled debut album with the release of Herbert's On Holiday. I still have this perception of them as this high-energy punk group, but this track is another example that they're more than comfortable stepping outside of that. Herbert's On Holiday has a bit of a post-punk feel to it in its bass line, but more than anything, it's just really upbeat and catchy, with the track written by frontman Michael Bingham as an ode to his wife. Just some super heartwarming stuff. Spiritual Cramp's debut album comes out November 3rd on Blue Grape Music. The Philly punk band Friend announced last week that they had signed with Born Losers Records for the release of their new album Dog Eat Dog, and they just dropped a new song titled All the Money in the World to follow that up. It's lo-fi, super punchy, and packed with energy, and then you add on some snarky vocals and you've just got an absolute ripper of a single. Friend's new album Dog Eat Dog will be out in the new year on February 2nd. Quick shoutouts to some more great singles before we wrap things up. We've got new ones from Atlanta punk's Upchuck, New Jersey power pop punk group Teenage Halloween, the psychedelic soul band Black Pumas, and some Philly hardcore punk from Paint It Black. All 4 of those artists have albums coming out within the next month or so be on the lookout for more from them. Now, there was a ton of music released in what has been a string of really stacked weeks, so we obviously didn't get to cover everything, but if you want to see the full list we put together, you can check that out on your screen or head over to our socials. Otherwise, we are currently polling for a ton of albums, including ones by OutKast, Nirvana, Olivia Rodrigo, Jeff Rosenstock, Mitski, and more. If any of those artists are of any interest to you, whether you love them, hate them, or anywhere in between, make sure you check out our voting forums where you can submit a score, select top tracks, and submit a review for a chance to be featured. Lastly, check out our previous video where Dev covered some news stories in music that happened over the past week or so, and thank you so much for watching.